All right, shalom, shalom. First things first, I want to give all honor and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakwadash. Say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakwadash. And we give double honors to our apostles and our elders, which are the apostle elders, a great millstone, which feed us with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through the spirit and power of Yahbashim Yahushai. 2024, which is the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. Lord willing, this be the year the Yahbashim Yahushua redeems the elect and sets up the kingdom of heaven, which belongs to Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which is spread out through the four corners of the planet Earth. Also the confusion of face. Those that may not look like your traditional or everyday Israelite, all right, that are spread out, the Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners that are coming into this thing and believing. So let's jump into this. The title of this lesson is going to be called "The Lord Gave E Supersonic Technology." Okay, something on those lines, something to tie in with that, because these are the exit. Okay, these weapons are set for the exit of the elect when these things start being launched. Because once you start diving into these things, and Elder said something that was beautiful. The apostle said something that says that's why guys fall out, because they don't know how to marry the news and things that are happening in the world to the scriptures. Because if you can do that, then you can see that, guess what? Salvation is nigh. Everything that the Yahweh Shemel Shai said is coming to pass. So I'm going to play this video. This is fair use, fair use. It's got some plays, but Lord willing, it don't flag it. If it does, I'll put the copyright claim. But this is fair use. This is for educational purposes only. But once you see the marvelous, the Lord has given this man the sword. That's why spiritual power is going to be a beautiful thing, because that's tapping into the other blessing that was given to Jacob. Okay, where you see everything that's coming to pass now is Esau has to fulfill his birthright, his left-handed birthright. That's why even the elder says it, a pseudo birthright. Okay, he's trying to make heaven. He's trying to make his heaven and his rulership. That's why he wants immortality. He wants to travel to space. He wants to do these things that he knows that the Israelites, which are you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, are getting ready to inherit. So I'm going to play this video, and we're going to jump into some precepts to tie everything in together. Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson to show you. Yahweh Shai is giving this man a great sword. All right. And this is how we know that God is going to do the deed. He's going to be the one to make this thing happen through the spirit of Yahweh Shai that has put it on his mind to do these things and to invent these weapons. Okay, so supersonic technology is in the news. Even myself, I wanted to get brushed up on it and to see a little bit more details of how it works. But this video goes in depth because this is dealing predominantly with the avant-garde. Okay, the avant-garde missile platform is what this video is going into, and showing you this is the fastest. We used to say 30 minutes. You know, brothers used to be on the highways and the byways. We used to say it's only going to take 30 minutes. The whole destruction is going to take an hour, and thus saith the Bible. But now these avant-garde missiles are going to take 15 minutes to get here. 15 minutes from Russia to America. That's speed, man. Okay, so this video is going to go into it. I'm going to stop it and get some precepts. Lord willing, like I said, it's that edifying lesson. Let's jump right into it.
In the head of the nuclear missile. Or rather, this is Russia's most dangerous nuclear missile. Or rather, the world's most dangerous nuclear missile. But to be precise, not the whole thing, but the maneuverable block, which is located in the head of the missile. In the mid-1980s, Russian scientists under the leadership of Chief...
So now let's get this. It says, you heard what he said, in the head of the missile, right? Let's pull this real quick. This is the book of Revelation 9 and verse 19. Because this is how you can see that Yahweh Shai has predicted everything down to what the words that men had in their time, to tie it as close to where we could read it today and still be able to understand it. And you have to have the spirit of Yahweh Shai dealing with you to be able to see these things. Okay, this is Revelation 9 and verse 19. It says, for the power is in their mouth and in their tails. So what is it? The mouth is known as what? The head. Okay, the tails are the propulsion. Okay, that's the propulsion of the missile. So if we see here, you see he's outlining the head of it. The tail is talking about what propels the missile into outer space. And then the head detaches and it flies on its own. Okay, the propulsion system. It says, let's start at 18. It says, but these three was the third part Salaki, it says, with these three was the third part of men killed by fire and by smoke and by brimstone. And what is going into brimstone? Sulfur. Okay, what is the same thing that was dropped on Sodom and Gomorrah was what? Sulfur. All right, and it says fire. What are these missiles called? It causes an explosion is so much times hotter than the sun. And smoke, what happens? Because the mushroom cloud is a smoke that comes up from it. All right, and it says, and by brimstone, which issued out of their mouths, which is the head, the warhead. So it's saying that John on the Isle of Patmos is giving us a a metaphor, okay, a way for us to understand it today. But now you have to have the inspiration to know what he's talking about. It says, which issued out of their mouths. You read this, you're gonna try to put some mystical spin to it. You know, why do I say that? Because before I was waking up to this truth, I read Revelation all the time. It was one of my favorite books. It was in my spirit, even when I was in the world, you know, lost. I just would read my Bible and I would turn to Revelation. There's just something about it. It says, which issued out of their mouths. It says, for their power is in their mouth, in the warhead, and in their tails, for the tails were like unto serpents, just like a long body. Look at this. It looks like a snake. What is a snake? A snake doesn't have feet. It's a slender creature, okay? Just like this missile. John didn't know how to say missile. He didn't know how to say warhead. He didn't know how to say propulsion system. Things weren't even flying in the time of John's time. Okay, so he was just comparing it because if you look at the Sarmat, Satan, it's long. I mean, it takes damn near 2 semi trucks to pull it. It's a long missile. So it says, he just said, man, it looked like a snake. Okay, so that's what it's talking about. And it says, for their tails were like unto serpents and had heads, warheads. So it's talking about the because some of these missiles, especially Satan too, Sarmat, has multiple warheads. He didn't say has heads and had heads, and with them they do hurt. So John seen a multi-vehicle entrant coming in. How do I say that? Let's go here. Hold on. Let's go here. Let's see here. Then let's go to images. There we go. See? Let's see if it'll pull it up. Let's go to all. It says Satan. Let's see here. See how many warheads, but it has multiple entrance vehicles. Watch this. Let's do this. Oh, here we go. It says with 4 750 kiloton warheads, the SS-18 Satan, with up to 10 500 kiloton warheads, and the SS-19 Staglioto, which with 6 550 kiloton warheads. Each of these Soviet systems had several versions with that traded multiple warheads for higher yield. For instance, the SS-18 Model 3 carried a single 20 megaton warhead. This giant missile, Atlas series, man, 20 megatons. This one, the most they got is what? 10 warheads. So you're seeing that it says with their heads. warheads. They even call them heads. They call them warheads. And had heads. And the missile, the serpent, had heads on it, warheads. And with them, they do hurt because that's where the yield is at. That's where the bomb is at. That's where the nuclear fusion is at. That's where the power comes from. All the body is just to propel it to that outer space, and then it comes into itself. It says, and the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues yet repented. That's it on that. Let's jump back into the video.
Designer Pavel Sudyukov began work on the project under the code 4202. The purpose of the work was to try to find a lock to the U.S. missile defense system. It was then that the Avangard system was developed. Avangard consists of two elements. The first is an intercontinental ballistic missile, responsible for acceleration and bringing the warhead to the
That's the body. That's the body. Just like, it looks like a snake. If you've never seen this before, what would you describe it? What would you be able to put in words what it looks like? It looks like a snake.
Calculated trajectory. The second element is the hypersonic gliding winged warhead. The gliding winged combat unit is seriously different from its competitors in terms of its operating principles. Unlike conventional warheads, the winged unit is capable of performing a planning flight, not just falling on the target. Because of this, it is almost impossible to intercept. The Avangard has a very high speed. According to the results of the next test launch, it was reported to reach a speed of 27 Mach number. It is 32,217 kilometers or 20,019 miles. This allows it for an hour and a little to make a full circle around the planet, or just 16 minutes to cover the distance from Moscow to New York.
16 minutes, and 16 and 1 and 6 is 7, completion. So that's even a spiritual number in itself, but it takes 16 minutes. What are you going to do in 16 minutes? You can't do nothing in 16 minutes to get away from that, man. And the pure magnitude of the power that's coming out of that. That's why it says he blow off the coals. He created this smith that blow off the coals in the fire, man. So 30 minutes used to be a number of years ago. You know, if brothers have been around for a while, we used to say 30 minutes, and that was fast. Okay, so these things are coming in less time than a pizza. These missiles will come before you can order a whole pizza, man. Okay, so that's why the Lord says he's going to make a speedy riddance of this place, man. 1 hour is going to be over with. And then on top of that, you're going to have the angels and Yahushua himself leading the angels that's going to do work on the planet Earth, on Babylon the Great. So it's going to be a day that's why it says the great and notable day of the Lord, man. We waiting on these things. Esau's done. He's done. He's putting the spirit on these Edomites to do what they're going to do to fulfill prophecy. And then he's going to finish the rest.
No air defense system can deal with a missile like that. Only missile defense has a chance, and that's small. The launch of an intercontinental missile will not go unnoticed. It can be tracked by satellite reconnaissance. This means that you can learn about the launch in advance, and there will be some time to react. In flight, the hypersonic Avangard forms a cloud of plasma around itself, which is detected by infrared reconnaissance satellites. This makes it possible to track the missile's movement. But that's not the problem. Anti-missile defenses use a kinetic method of interception. When a conventional missile is launched, it has a fairly predictable trajectory and is relatively easy to target. But the Avangard block can literally dodge such an attack because it can change its flight path. The explosive power of...
That's why it says they shall leap over the wall as a man of war, and they shall not race... Hold on, let me see if I can. Let me see if I can pull that up. Let's see here. There we go. Check this out. This is Joel 2 and verse 7. NLT, it says, the attackers march like warriors and scale city walls like soldiers. What is a wall? A wall is a guard. A wall is a protection. That's what protects your village, your city is a wall. So what is the wall, modern day wall, is the missile defense, because you don't have to worry about so-called warriors coming in on foot. I mean, you can, but the main thing now is because all the wars that are fought today are modern technology, modern warfare. So what would be a protection, a wall would be a what missile defense program, which it is these missile interceptors. So it says that scale city walls like soldiers. So these missiles, because what is a soldier? A soldier comes over the wall and he's moving sporadically. You know, he's running with a sword. He's yelling, doing whatever a warrior does. But these missiles are moving, and they're able to maneuver around the so-called guard or the wall. It says straightforward. They march, never breaking rank. That means never going out of position. That means the target is it's going to hit the target, because the missile defense, if it was going on the same trajectory, they would be able to intercept it. Okay, so let's go to the amplified verse, and it says they run like warriors, they climb the wall like soldiers, they each march straight ahead in line. It says in line, and they do not deviate from the paths. So what is it saying? It's saying because the path is the target. But these new missiles are able to navigate. They're able to move around things. Okay?
The nuclear warhead carried by the Avangard missile is reported to be more than 2 megatons in TNT equivalent, which is 100 times greater than the bomb dropped on Nagasaki. For example, if Avangard were to be dropped on New York City, the destruction would be over 25 kilometers in radius. More than 2 million people would die, and over 3.5 million people would be injured. The nuclear mushroom would reach the altitude that airplanes normally fly. But it's unlikely that such a missile would be used on cities. It's more likely to target radars and missile defense sites, so that Russia can then have the opportunity to uncontrollably use more obsolete nuclear weapons, of which it has 5,889 in nuclear storage. But I ask you to remember that any weapon...
This is the judgment's coming, man. The judgment's coming. The warning has went out. They can't say they didn't know. So let's get these precepts, and we're going to close on out. This is the book of Jeremiah 51 and verse 11, because it says what? Make bright the arrows, okay? So what does it say? The word bright is what? Ra. Let's see. It says purify, select, polish. So what did the Lord say in this verse through Jeremiah? Polish, make the arrows polished. So it's not talking about modern day air. It's not talking about ancient arrows. These are new. These are used as a metaphor or something to describe something that was going to come. So these are polished arrows. And now that supersonic technology is a prime example of a polished arrow. That means it's able to maneuver around missile defense programs. It's faster. It's stronger. So that's a polish. Just like if you polish up a watch or something, you're making it better. You're making it shine. Okay, choose, purge, cleanse, or make bright. Test or prove. And what do you do with these missiles? You test them. Okay, you test the missile defense or you test the missile before launch. Okay, that's why you had that START treaty. Okay, and then you have, it's called MAD, Mutually Assured Destruction. That's what Babylon and America had a contract. But now that's out the door, especially now with the Ukraine situation. It says test, prove, purify oneself, and then, what was the word? Let's see here, hold on. We'll go back and read. It says make bright the arrows, gather the shields. What is the shields? The defenses. The Lord has raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes. And how has he raised it up? By giving them this technology, by giving the situation with Ukraine. All these things are stirring up Russia was just, they're trying to chill. But it says he's going to put hooks in their jaws, man. So they ain't going to have a choice. They don't have a choice in this. The Lord is controlling these Edomites because he's moving them for that purpose. It says for his device. What's the word device? Let's look up that word real quick. Device is, let's play.
Strong's H4209. Mezima. Mezima.
Purpose, direction, device, plot. Purpose, direction, devices. And it says, devices against Babylon to destroy it. And what are these missiles going to do? They're going to destroy, man. He said he's created a waster to destroy, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. Because the Negro, Latino, and Native American are the temple of the Lord. And the Lord is also judging these Romans, because they were the ones to burn the temple in the time of 70 AD with Vespasian, Titus, and Domitian. Okay, once they sacked Jerusalem, that was the war, the Jerusalem war, where you had that conflict. That was a time of them burning it. What did it say? Raise it, raise it. They melted it, man. They stole the gold. They took the menorahs. That's where you get the Ark of Titus. So they are guilty of burning the temple of the Lord. So what the Lord gonna do to this place? He's gonna burn it, man. What does it say? Fire for fire. Which is justified, man. You burn the Lord's temple, guess what he gonna do, man? All right. Let's go to the next verse. It says, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong. What is the standard? Going into what? This truth. All right. So if we look up what the word standard is, let's see here. The word there for standard is what? Something lifted up. This is a banner. The truth, the prophets, starting with the apostles and elders that's been out there doing the work. Ensign, signal. We set up the signal. We're telling the world, hey, it's coming. Ensign, banner, sign. What do we have the sign out there? The 12 tribe sign. All right, telling you, Jakes, that you are the children of Israel. Come back to your father. Come back to your identity, man. Okay, and it says, let's read it again, Salakia. It says, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Make the watch strong. That's where you have men going out there week in and week out doing videos throughout the week. Okay, making the calling and election sure. Set up the watchmen. That's the prophets. Okay, prepare the ambushes, for the Lord has both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. So it's over. That's why the prophets have been out on the highways and byways, man. And we've been telling these people what's coming. They said that most people thought we were crazy. Now they don't. That's why you have people on the internet saying, oh, maybe these Israelites were right. It's too late now. Too late. This is Isaiah 9:5. For every battle of the war is with a warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Because what are these missiles propelled by? Fuel. They're fuel. That's what separates the hypersonic missile from regular missiles, the fuel that they use. It's a different type of fuel that the Russians have mastered, man. Because that goes into, because they had the other half of Operation Paperclip. That's something you got to look into. When they split up the Nazi regime. Babylon, which is America, took half the scientists and Russia took the rest. Okay, it says that's it on that. Let's go to Psalm 7 and verse 13. And it reads, it says, he has also prepared for him the instruments of death. And that's these missiles, man. They're 2 million people in 15 minutes are dead. 2 million, and then 3 million injured. That's man, those are numbers, man. Anyone that can say that they seen that, they ain't never seen 2 million souls just exit the earth, man. Instantly. Have ordained his arrows going into these missiles against the persecutors. And what's that? Esau. These Edomites. This land here. You got a lot of because this is that generation going back to the time of slavery, going back to the time of Romans, going back to the time of 70 AD. These are those that have touched the apple of the Lord's eye, man. And judgment is coming. Verse 14, behold, he travaileth with iniquity and hath conceived mischief and brought forth falsehood. That's these lies. Okay, going back to Cesare Borgia, going back to these false idols, going back to the changing and the adding to the scriptures. And you're not supposed to add or take away. So that's the judgment right there. Just for that alone, it can happen. This is Psalm 64 and verse 7. It says, but Yahweh shall shoot at them with an arrow. But Yahweh shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. Suddenly. Let's look up that word suddenly. The word there is
Strong's H 6597. Pithom.
suddenly,
Pithom.
surprisingly, suddenness. So this is going to come. That's why I said it's going to come as a thief in the night. It says, so they, verse 8, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Okay, that's where you have these conspiracy theories, all these whistleblowers, all these things that are coming out. That's just the more proof that why the destruction and judgment is coming. Okay, as Isaiah 13:17 says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and what is going into silver and gold, where you get the stock, where you get the what are they talking about, the sanctions, because they don't want to started their own thing. They actually became richer through all of this. The Russians became richer. They used to use, I think it was like 30%, if not 40% of their money was traded in U.S. dollars. And after the sanctions, it goes down to like, I think maybe like 12 or 15%. So they're barely using it, but, you know, because of the sanctions. So now but they're gaining more money through the backdoor deals, okay? Because everybody still needs that oil, man. Okay, so they're not worrying about these sanctions and the things that, what do you say, they would a nation would worry about, because that's why the BRICS is there. Okay, it says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces. That's these missiles, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb, because these missiles ain't got no eyes, no ears. They ain't trying to hear nothing. They're just gonna go to the target and do the work. And it says, pieces, they shall have no pity upon the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms and the beauty of the Chaldeans' excellency shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Goes back into what? The sulfur. That's that missile that's coming down, and on top of that, the same sulfur that was dropped in Sodom and Gomorrah, because the angels and the ships are going, and Yahweh Shai himself is going to be there, man. All right, so we in that time, man. Beautiful things are taking place. I just wanted to tie this in. It's been on my spirit to go into these arrows and this supersonic technology, and to really break it down and to tie it into the scriptures as best as I can through what Yahweh Shem Yahshua has given me. So, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. Lord willing, it's a strengthening lesson, and just watch where we at, man. We at that time. So with that, I say, call halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Mechakodash. Until the next time, I say shalom, and more now than ever, keep faith. Shalom.